All right, first of all, I was getting ready to go to bed and get some sleep. Hey, y'all, hey. And I had watched the Country Wayne skits and got caught up. And I gotta say, these skits get more and more redundant and ridiculous every day. But I'm gonna start with Dalen and Noel and Keisha and Kelvin. Keisha, it's not your fault, sweetheart. Kelvin's issue is not with you. Kelvin's issue is with Noel. Okay? I'm gonna start there. I know you probably thinking he's not interested in you. You are not the problem. Because you said you weren't gonna go because you weren't invited. And I love the way you handled it. You let him know, look, if you're not interested in me, let me know now before I take a step back. I love the way that he handled it. When he asked her, did somebody hurt you? Did somebody do something to you? He asked. And she said yes, her ex. And she told him somewhat what happened. So I love the way he handled it. But Dalen, that man invited you. He did not invite Noel. You did not have to tell Noel nothing. You should have just went. Now, you done messed up this man's whole entire trip because he going to be pissed the whole entire time he's on this trip. If I was him, I'd have said, nobody ain't going. I should have never invited nobody. You should have just went on that trip by yourself, had yourself a great time, and not invited Dalen. Because Noelle is clingy. She clingy. She is so afraid that if she let Dalen out of her sight, that he gonna cheat. That's what that is. That's insecurity. And it proves a very valid point that even the most attractive girl has insecurities and there are things about her that she thinks are unattractive. Okay, good to know. So yeah, the fact that you gonna pull Keisha in the middle of this, the fact that, you got her now feeling insecure because of what you did. And see, Kelvin is not gonna be rude. And let me explain why that can sometimes be a bad thing. Kelvin should have said, no, to be honest, I don't want you to go. This was supposed to be a guy's trip, just me and Dalen, and that is it. It shouldn't have been, you going. He should have been like, well, Keisha, you know that I would love for you to come on this trip, but I do want this to be a guy's trip because it's supposed to be a guy's trip. So now he has no choice but to invite Keisha. Because if we don't invite Keisha, Keisha gonna think he don't like her. Which is not what he wants her to think. But at the same time, them two are not in a relationship. They're getting to know each other. So he has every right to enjoy, his trip, regardless of what he does, because those two don't know each other like that. And they both are technically still single. They're not in a committed relationship. But Noelle, no, you shouldn't be going on this trip. And Dalen, you should have told her she couldn't go. The fact that you sitting, but then again, I also understand why you didn't because you're in a doghouse as it is. But I think this trip is going to be very, very interesting. It is. Because, Dalen, didn't you just get upset because you said she was a virgin? So why would you invite her knowing she's a virgin? And you already said you got an issue with the fact that she's not putting up. And yet still you're going to bring on a trip to, you know what? Wayne, I'm going to need y'all to do better with these skits. As for the Anthony and Amber situation about Kai, this should have came up a long time ago. This should have came up because she already seen him. See, the problem that I have is I don't think they remember anything because as many times as Amber has been around Kai, even when she found out that Kai wasn't his baby, she's been around him enough to know that is a possibility that baby don't look like him. Now, it would be crazy if they do this DNA test and it come out that baby is his. If that baby turns out to be his baby, I don't want nobody to say nothing to me at this point. Because this should have been discussed when Amber found out that baby was his. It should have been discussed then because she's seen this child. It's not like she has not been around Kai. It's not like she ain't seen him. She seen him when he was born because he didn't look like what's name either. Y'all gotta understand when it comes to these babies, y'all are literally looking at this baby like this baby's supposed to literally look like Anthony. We've seen Anthony's real son in real life. So no. Now, all I'm gonna say is, even if they do this DNA test, if it comes out that he is in fact the father of that baby, I'm just gonna sit here and just shake my head because this will be stupid. 2 DNA tests were done. 2. Not 1. 2. And now we're about to see about doing another one. See, the problem is that Shayla is not the one that changed the DNA test. She didn't do nothing to it. But like I said, it's going to be crazy if it comes out that baby is his. If that baby turns out that it really is his baby, you know how pissed off he going to be because he went through all of this and now he got to pay child support. Do you not think that he's going to really resent Amber for this? See, you know what? I'm not at this point. See, the funny thing about it is she's now dating Iman. It's going to be crazy. It was really bizarre to me is I wish this would have been Amber. I wish Amber would have been able to date Kelvin, and this is the way I wish they would have played it and let this go on a little bit longer. But nope, that's not what they did. So now Amber and Anthony are back together, and then if it comes out that he is the father, everybody gonna be so happy about the fact that he's not the father. But then again, how is Shayla gonna lose if she's with Iman at this point? How's she gonna lose? She's gonna have Iman. Shayla is gonna be able to get another guy to be there for her and that baby. So that won't even be remotely an issue. Because she's with Iman. So at the end of the day, if she's with Iman, why do y'all want to do this storyline about him not being the father when she's moving on with Iman? That girl is moving on with somebody else. She's moving on with something we wish Amber would have done. So at the end of the day, it would have been better that even if he is the father, it still could have been a situation where Shayla could still move on. Amber and Anthony can move on. And Iman being there for Kai. Well, no, that ain't what we gonna do, are we? Nope, that ain't what we gonna do at all, apparently. So like I said, I don't necessarily understand. As for Kiari, you're sitting up here defending Shayla until you find out that Shayla introduced her homegirl to Wayne. And that Wayne has a thing for her. You got to be pissed all over again. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting how this all play out. I just find this all just so very hilarious. I do. What else? Candace, as far as you keeping Erica's money, Erica, why did you give her the money? See, you know what? This thing with Lawrence and Erica, y'all just need to go ahead on and get back together because y'all do not need to be apart. Both of y'all really need to sit down and really have a very serious conversation. Matter of fact, y'all need to have a therapist involved. Y'all need to do what Anthony and Amber did. Just get a therapist involved and talk about the issues and find out the truth. That what happened really didn't happen. That Nina's up there lying. Because you're not doing so well right now without Lawrence, and he's not doing so well without you. Y'all just need to go ahead on and get back together. Y'all need to go ahead on and go to therapy and talk about it and get it out of the way. So at the end of the day, like I said, Lawrence, as long as your son, your son lost his mother. And I just believe that right now you need to give your son time. And before you talk about marrying somebody, I think you need to give him time because he's never going to want anybody to replace his mother. But at the same time, he's almost 18. So being that he's almost 18, it's not like he's a child. So if you get married to Erica, it's not really going to matter because of the fact that he's 18. So in the end, he's going to be grown. So, but I still think that, him and Erica should have got to know each other. I feel like that should have been the storyline, but it wasn't. But anyway, that's all I can think of for right now. As for Mike is Sonny and Dom is Mike is Sonny and Dom. Things are, what's the name for him talking to Ralphie and talking some sense into him. So him and Mike are good. So, like I said, Mike is Mike. Mike is Mikey. That's pretty much it.